Greetings and salutations, love squires. I'm Prince Amari, gay matchmaker, relationship coach, and love alchemist, and I help singles transform their love blocks into relationship gold. And in this video, we are going to talk about mastering the art of manifestation. So about a month ago, I moved to the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. I manifested this bomb 3-bedroom condominium right on the beach, and for the same exact price I was paying for rent in the DC area, okay? And so lots of people keep asking me, how did I manifest this out of thin air? I literally decided about 3 months ago that I was moving here. Well, technically I've been like on the page for Puerto Rico. I've wanted to live here for forever, but I really made up my mind on August the 2nd. It's currently December I don't know what day this gets posted, but December the 2nd-ish. So 4 months since I made the decision, but I've been here a month. So 3 months from decision to manifestation of this beautiful place in Puerto Rico. And so people keep asking me, what is my process for manifesting things? Because I've done tons of things. I've been in New York Times, I've been in Washington Post, Cosmo UK. I've spoken at places all around the world, and I'm not a person who's like born into all these privileges. Like, we grew up poor and all the things. So I'm clearly a master manifester. And in this video, I'm gonna share the 3 simple steps to manifestation that I use for literally everything that I ever manifest in my life. And it always works 100% of the time. So that's what we're gonna do, all right? Step 1 for creating, manifesting, mastering manifestation is to set an intention. And so what most people do wrong with intentions falls directly on their definition of what an intention is. Most people have the definition wrong. So an intention is not just one day I want to do a thing, or I'm going to do this at some point. Intentions are not wishy-washy. If you think of it like a piece of string, most people's intentions are wiggly, right? String doesn't do anything fast. You can't push anything with the string, right? However, an intention is when you take that string and you pull it so that it has tension, okay? It has to be in a state of tension in order to work, all right? And so if we think about cutting through a warm stick of butter, if you don't have any tension in your intention, it won't cut, right? That piece of string is just gonna sit on top of the butter like nothing's happened, all right? And this is what happens when people set intentions that are like, oh, one day I will, or I might, okay? Friends, might is not mighty, okay? Delete that from your vocabulary when you're setting intentions. You have to decide. The moment you make your mind up and you say, this is what I'm doing, nothing is changing my mind, I don't care what happens unless something better comes along, then it's fine to change your mind, okay? Cool. But different conversation. I'm not changing my mind. This is what I'm doing. My mind is made up. If you've ever had that experience, look at the last thing that you made your mind up about and see how it actually happened. And it was like, well, just what? We just did what happened because it manifested and it wasn't that much fanfare. That's how this works. You have to make up your mind 100%. You got to be all in on your intention, or you don't have an intention. Okay? Pregnant pause on purpose. You got to be 100% in order to get 100% return on the investment. All right? So that is the first step. Set your intention, AKA make up your mind. Step 2 is perform the incantation. And so what does incantation mean? It literally means say it, okay? Incantation is something you speak. Prayers are incantations. Any sort of affirmative sentence is an incantation. And so literally, this is the step where we refer to often as speak it into existence. But what people do wrong here with speaking things into existence is that they try to speak it into existence before they've decided it into existence, before they did step 1, okay? If you haven't made your mind up about the thing, speaking it into existence doesn't work. Okay? Because here's what happens if you try to speak something into existence before you've decided it into existence. Other people will try to convince you that the thing you want to do is not the thing you need to do, and then you'll conform and you won't be all in on your dream, and then the dream won't happen, all right? So an example of this, for me moving to Puerto Rico, I decided August 2nd. I was actually watching a video on YouTube around 15 reasons you should live by the sea. And in the middle of that, I got all these goosebumps. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. As soon as my lease is over, I'm moving to the beach. Then I decided which beach I was moving. Well, not the exact beach. I decided between Puerto Rico, California, and Florida. Of course, I was like, forget Florida. I'm not going down there because election season and she's on some BS. I'm not going to Florida. So I was between Puerto Rico and California. Puerto Rico went out because I already take my clients on international beach retreats around the world. So I could just host retreats here now. Cost of living is lower than it is in California. Taxes are lower than it is in California. And it feels like a whole vacation. But I have clients in California, and if I hosted retreats there, it wouldn't really feel like a vacation. So Puerto Rico won for many, many reasons. So first I decided. As soon as I made the decision, I then called my mom, okay? This is the performing the incantation part. I called my mom and I didn't say, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Puerto Rico. What do you think? No. I said, hey mom, guess what? I'm moving to Puerto Rico. And you know what my mom said? Oh my God, I can't wait to come visit. She already knew, my mind was made up. I'm not gonna try to convince him to change that, because I was mind made up, which didn't leave room for anybody to even try to convince me otherwise, because I was made up, right? We'd already decided into existence. Now I'm just performing the incantation, notifying people, because until other people hear it, and by other people, really what I mean is until you say it out loud, it's just a thought, okay? It's just a thought that you're thinking. Once you say it out loud, it actually triggers things in your own subconscious mind. No one's words are more powerful for your subconscious than your own words. So any intention you set, you need to say it out loud. Saying it to other people reinforces it tenfold, because now you have the accountability of, oh, I actually said this to someone else. So now it's not just something that I've been toying with. Now it's real in the world of communication and interaction with other people. Okay, so I called my mom, I called my grandmother, told my siblings. I can't remember if I called my grandmother or grandfather first, but in any case, I called all my family, notified the leasing office that when the lease was up, I was no longer gonna be living there, right? So you say all the things to all the people that need to know. And anytime it came up in conversation, I got an invite to come to like a Thanksgiving situation at a friend's house, or a Christmas little gathering, of course, really small, like we have a unit where it was just like the 6 or 7 of us, and we were only like monogamous with each other. We were not going and doing things with other people. So yes, I wasn't like partying or anything, but I got the invite. Clearly I didn't go, I just got the invite. Okay, I'm here now. So told them can't, because I'm moving to Puerto Rico. And you'll notice my sentence was not, I'll be moving at some point, or I might be moving to Puerto Rico. It was, I am moving. It was in present, always tense. You always want your incantations to be in present, always tense. This is the same as an affirmation. Affirmation, incantation, prayer, like all the subconscious suggestion, it's all the same. You want it to be in always present tense, or else it doesn't count, right? You're leaving it in the future if you say, I will do it in the future. The future never arrives. Until you put a date on it, or until you put the present on your incantation, it's just an idea or a possibility, okay? So every time it came up, I performed the incantation and said, I'm moving to Puerto Rico. That's step 2. Step 3 is to act in the direction of your desire. In other words, you gotta make space and make time for what you want to manifest, all right? So this specifically, we have to think about it like this, right? Your intention, your incantation, that's kind of like placing your order in Amazon. Your making space, making time is going to the mailbox to get it when it gets here, of course, but also like if it was a refrigerator, where is it gonna go? Is this an extra refrigerator? If so, we gotta make sure we have the space for it when it gets here. Or If we're replacing, we already know that that old one is leaving. So we have to figure out what we're doing with the old refrigerator, right? So that's one example. Another way you make space, if you already know your family's coming to visit for the weekend, you're gonna clean the guest room, you're gonna put new sheets on the bed, you're gonna go get snacks and drinks for the house, you're gonna get extra toothbrushes and toothpaste, like all the things that you do because you know that they are coming, right? You do those things in order to receive your guests. And that is exactly what acting as if or acting in the direction of your desires means. You are taking action in order to receive the manifestation. Your action is essentially the address, right? Your action is telling the universe where to deliver the result of your intention. Unless you're acting, unless you're making the space, unless you're making the time, there is no place for it to be sent, okay? This literally the physical space you create. And so in terms of a relationship, making space in a drawer of your dresser or in your closet or whatever, that space is now creating the address for where the universe will deliver the thing to you, okay? And so I know that's a little bit of a loose analogy, but you get what I'm saying. You got to make the space. And also the time. The number one reason I see clients not being able to get into a relationship when it comes to this, the making space and the time, is because they don't even have time for themselves, let alone for a relationship. If you don't have space in your calendar for 10 hours of me time a week, not all at once, but even sprinkled throughout the week, if you don't got 10 hours of me time, you for sure don't even have 10 hours of we time, right? And how much time do you think it's gonna require for you to be in a relationship with someone? You need to make that space now, because the way the universe works, and when I say universe, I mean scientifically, the universe being a vacuum. When you create space, it creates a vacuum and pulls in something to fill the space. And so when you create space in your calendar, in your dresser, in your closet for love, guess what fills in? The very thing that you want. So you gotta make the space, you gotta make the time. Both of those are two parts of the same thing, two halves of the same coin, if you will. Space and time, space-time continuum, yes, they're the same thing. So those are the 3 steps. And to recap, step 1, set the intention, AKA make up your mind, okay? Step 2, perform the incantation. In other words, make up your mouth. And remember, you can't speak something into existence until you've decided it into existence. And then step 3, move in the direction of your desire, all right? In other words, make the space and make the time in order to be able to receive it. That is what is required to manifest anything. And so a question you might have right now is likely on the timing, right? Okay, so I made up my mind, I told people, I made up my mouth, I created the space, I created the time. When can I expect what I want to show up? Okay? You're probably now thinking about the time. Okay, so I do all that, so how long will it take, right? Here's the thing. When you have pressure or force, when you're trying to make something happen now, it breaks the thing. So you can't be pressured, right? You can't feel a sense of need, right? However, fun and flow are the key to everything. And so actually, the reason I wear this crown is to remind you that love is supposed to be fun. And we are all most attractive, most engaging, most fascinating when we are in a state of passionate play, okay? So the way that applies to this is you are not taking these actions begrudgingly. You're not getting on dating apps and saying, I gotta do this in order to find love. It's annoying, right? If you are doing that, that means it feels like it's too much work. It's too much pressure, which means you don't need to be doing that thing in that energy, or else you won't get the result of your intention, because the energy you're doing it with is what's determining how and when what you want shows up. So if you do this in a spirit of play, in a spirit of fun, it speeds up a lot faster, okay? The other thing that determines the timing is your level of desire versus your level of belief, okay? And so our beliefs exist in the subconscious mind. Our desires exist in the conscious mind when we are aware of what we want, okay? And so what this means is Our lives are controlled by the subconscious mind. 95% of your life is controlled by your subconscious, where your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, all of that lives in the subconscious mind. Your conscious desires are in the conscious mind, which is also where discipline and willpower live, okay? So anytime we make a conscious decision that's not in alignment with our subconscious programming, the subconscious is gonna win, but only 95% of the time, okay? Which is pretty much all the time, right? So that's the definition of self-sabotage. When we consciously desire one thing, but our subconscious mind is programmed to deliver its opposite automatically, okay? So in order for us to get what we want, we have to believe that it's even possible in the first place, all right? If you don't believe that what you want is possible, if you don't believe you're worthy of love, if you don't believe you're good enough, even if it were to show up, you will sabotage it because your subconscious mind is programmed to deliver the opposite, right? If you don't believe you're worthy, the subconscious is delivering situations and circumstances that reinforce the belief that you're not worthy. All right, so you gotta change that belief at the subconscious level. You gotta increase that level of belief. Or if you don't increase the belief, you have to increase the level of desire. If your desire is greater than your belief, the thing will still come. It will just be real rocky because you'll be struggling. You'll be like, I really want it, but it's so hard to let myself have it, right? It's like an uphill battle. It's so much easier if we just neutralize those patterns of subconscious self-sabotage, okay? So that's what we do in hypnosis. As a hypnotherapist, I'm always helping clients neutralize those things. But that distinction between desire and belief is one of the things that affect timing. If you don't believe it's possible, if you don't believe you're good enough, if you don't believe it's gonna be easy, if you believe it has to be hard, you will make it hard, even if there's an easy way to receive it, okay? So the other thing is, if you're the type of person who's like really into astrology or whatever, also look at astrological timing, because there are certain seasons when certain things are more likely to happen, right? You're not likely to get snow in the summertime. You're not likely to get a beachy day in the middle of winter unless you live in Puerto Rico now. But that's a different conversation. So you got to make sure that whatever season you're in makes sense for the things that you want, because every single thing we desire has a gestation period, okay? Like if you want to have a baby, you know it's going to be at least 9 months in the womb before baby is born, right? And that's just a law of the universe. So certain things you can't change in terms of their timing. If you want to make $1 million and you want to do it through your business, that usually doesn't happen overnight, right? In a business, you have to have the capacity to serve the amount of clients that will generate $1 million in revenue, right? Or what you're selling has to be $1 million and you just sell one, right? So either you increase the prices or you increase the amount of things that you sell, but you have to have the capacity to do that in either case, which is again, going back to making the space and making the time, all right? So those are like some quick little things on timing, but the thing that is most important to remember is that alignment is about aligning our conscious desires and intention with our subconscious programming. When our conscious mind and subconscious mind are in alignment, our actions will also be in alignment with our intentions, and we will much more easily, much more quickly manifest what we intend to create in our lives, all right? So I'll leave you with that. All right, we got the 3 things: set the intention, perform the incantation, and move in the direction of your desire, okay? I'll see you in the next video, and if you haven't already, check out the gay compatibility quiz down in the video description, and I'll see you next time. Love, peace, and glitter.